inflate the tire so that the bead seats itself all the way around. It should take no more than 20, 25, 30 pounds of air. If it takes a lot more than that, there's a chance that you may have the tube twisted or the tire not beaded up right. Once you've checked the bead seat on one side, always flip it over. Check the other side. The bead is seated all the way around. Before you set your pressure, bring your rim lock up to a moderate tightness. You don't really need to crank it down right now. Just a little bit. You don't want to final your tightness until you've set your pressure, because there's a chance that the tire might need to unseat, roll itself around a little bit as you reduce the pressure. Get yourself a good gauge. We're working with 12 to 15 pounds of air pressure, so even 1 pound is almost 10%. 10% is a big adjustment. If you don't have a very accurate gauge and you're off a pound or something, that's pretty critical when you're talking about only 10 to 12 pounds. Lower your pressure down. Generally, when we give them back to the team, we send them back with about 15 pounds of air in them. We let the mechanic make the final adjustment depending on the weather and the track conditions. And I recommend for yourself to leave it up a little inflated, because if you've inflated it and it's out in the sun and hot, and the next morning you're going to ride and it's cooler, heat causes air to expand and it will change. Overnight you can lose air pressure as well, and so nothing worse than setting it at 12 and then going riding the next day and not having an air source and being down to 10 and chance of ruining a good tire. Come back, tighten your rim lock. There's a torque spec on these, but when you do enough of them you'll get a feel for it. I call it 2 finger. What you can do with 2 fingers is about all that it needs. When tires move and stuff like that, rarely does a tire move because of the rim lock. Generally the tube is moving because of friction inside. The baby powder kind of loosens that up and makes it so it doesn't have that friction. But then you want to come back, set your final air pressure for what you're going to send it over to overnight. Some wheels have the rubber boot, some wheels just have a nut. The nut's not really a locking nut. You want to keep that valve free. It's one of the reasons why some wheels have the bigger hole, so that that valve can go back and forth. The last thing you want to do is lock that nut down onto the rim, because then when the tube does move inside, you can't tell from the outside that it's done that, and then you'll tear the tube right out of the valve. Use a good air cap. The ones with the rubber seals usually work the best. That's all there is to it.